Hey, hold your horses right quick, guys. Let me give you a little bit of context to where you're jumping in on this, because it does kind of shift two ways right off the bat. And I want you to follow the story here. So, Whiskey Den, the truck behind me, we sent off to a buddy's shop, got a cam swap and driving it back. And I can notice some lifter noise or rocker arm clatter or whatever you want to call it. Don't like it. I want to just see if I can minimize the noise. So while we're ankle deep, I get the truck here and realize I pulled plug to see how good it's burning, and it's not burning good at all. In fact, it's completely black. So I go to pull the carburetor off, get into it, and it is just everything bad. I get a new one. So that's where we're going to jump in on this, guys. So new cam swap, just get it to the shop, new carburetor, we're putting it on there. We're going to adjust out some valves, and then I get kicked right in the kidneys with a damn flex plate debacle. And by the end of the video, we're going to be right back in the same shape we were before. However, she's a runner, boys. And stick around. Just wanted to fill you in on that. I'm out. So I was tinkering with that carburetor this morning, guys. And nothing good has came out of it. I can't get the idle circuits to work. I went ahead and pulled the old metering rods, and they were 047s and they're supposed to be 051s, if I believe right. So anyhow, I was going to pull it up and check the jets, and they got the screws on the back all jarred or marred up. Now, that's been a good carburetor for this truck, and it works, but with that cam in low vacuum, I'm going to be willing to say that we need to change a few things. So anyhow, I did the next best thing and jumped online and found an AVS, a 650 AVS. It's an Edelbrock carburetor, but it's 650, so it's vacuum secondary, but with the annular Venturi system. So everybody says it's a night and day difference. I just went ahead and opted to buy a new one. We have an advanced auto that's shutting down here in town, and I went by there. They sent me to a different store, but I picked it up and got a pretty nice discount on it. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to swap this out right quick, and I'm going to put you guys in a time lapse for a minute. While you're watching this, jump on the comments. Tell me your best carburetor. What do you like? I mean, a lot of people, you know, it's only Holley, only Edelbrock, and there's such good carburetors out there. Strombergs are good for what they are. Makunis are excellent for what they are. Quadrajets. I love a good Quadrajet that's tuned and it's right. God, you can't beat them, especially if you go off-roading. They really help out. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. Hey, I just went for a ride in Whiskey Tent. Now there's an alarm going off. Somebody's kid got abducted. Guarantee you. Holy smokes, guys. I'm not real sure. I'm going to get it out once I get a little bit of that engine clatter. I want to check the timing and the valves one more time, or the rocker arms. Just sounds like I can hear it. But anyhow, run so much better. The transmission, when it shifted this time, like, you could feel it pull. Not hard, but it was way better than before. I said it in another video, it kind of lagged. Like, it would shift, but there was no pull you back and progress. You know what I mean? That's gone. I haven't got into the secondaries, anything like that. I want to give that cam a little bit of time, and I'll get it on the highway. But you guys ain't gonna see any of that. Man, I just scared the crap out of myself, guys. So I come over here to warm this up. This is before I pulled the valve covers. Starts right up to high idle. I was like, perfect. So I come out here and I was hooking my timing light up. And all of a sudden I heard like a boo, and it died. My first thinking was timing chain. has a new double roller on there, and I was like, what the heck? Anyway, I came over here and I'm not getting any fuel pressure. So I guess at high idle, I ran all my fuel out of the carburetor, which, okay, it was running for like 40 seconds at high idle, maybe 25 or 30 seconds at high idle. And I guess that was one of those low fuel backfire poof type deal, but scared me. I thought that something just went catastrophe. Anyhow, I guess I'm just a little jumpy. Let's go ahead and get into this. So I'll mess with that fuel issue here shortly. Right now, that's not my point of concern. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, while the battery's on and key is on, I'm going to take these and make sure that I can't twist any of these rocker arms. But what I really need to do, because I think I've got it, and like right there, none turned. I'll turn it like a quarter, check them, quarter, check it, you know what I mean, and do that 2 or 3 times. But last time I went through this, I thought I was pretty specific with it, but I still hear a little rattle. And I don't want that. So while this is off, I guess I'm going to have to get to the fuel issue sooner than later, because I do want to start this with the valve covers off. I may even take an old set of valve covers I have up here on the wall and cut them out so that I can put some valve covers on it to just keep oil from splashing everywhere. So yeah, that's probably what I need to do. And I'll look into the fuel issue. I'll bring you guys back here in just a second. But man, as soon as I got the valve covers off and I could turn it and see all the rockers, I was like, yes, okay, cool. I feel way better about that. For whatever reason, when it happened all at the same time. And it sounded like something broke and locked it up. I was like, oh no. So, crisis averted. Whoop. All right, let me get you guys set up. Let's get going. All right, guys, bear with me for a second. I've got the shop heater on. Let me show you what I've got going on here, though. So I went ahead and pulled the, I just ran it out of gas. That's why it died and did a little backfire thing. On this, you've got push rods. I went ahead and marked them. Let me show you on this side. It's a little easier to see. See those white lines on all the push rods? This is for people who don't know. I've got those marked on both sides, meaning every push rod there, every push rod here. I'm going to see if any of them are turning. This way we can eliminate a lifter, okay? If there's, as you crank, it's going to turn slowly, okay? I may set you guys up and we'll go through that. Probably a good idea, but I'm going to put you guys up and let's keep going on this. I just wanted to show you that. And I zip tied all those wires. That way they're out of the way. I think everything is good. At this point, I can wrap all that up and make it look good, because I think we're just about done here. Let me get you guys set up. All right, can you guys see all of these? Okay, see the lines? You just watch those. I'm gonna go start this. It's gonna take a second because I have to prime it. any of that. Did you notice a rocker arm that wasn't moving? I damn sure did. So we've got a wiped out lifter right here. Did you guys notice that this wasn't squirting any oil? And that didn't turn. Okay. So could it be too tight? Maybe a possibility. Give me just a second over here. Let me bring you guys in. And our timing is off. It's off by a lot. Give me just a second here. Let me get all my wires and stuff moved out of the way. Make sure all of them have turns. Turn, did not turn. Turned, did not turn. No, that did turn. 1.6, boy, that one's barely. See what I'm looking at now, guys? See that we got that line right here and the line right there. There's a line back there still on it. Now, could it be that it just happened to line up? Of course. Give me just a second here. I'm looking with you guys. Hold on. Okay, that one's turned. So the one I was suspecting did not turn. It's pushing oil, but it's not turning. Turned. All of them turned. So, let me double check this front one. No, it don't look like this one turned either. Okay, so I'm gonna go start it back up. I need to watch this one. The intake on that one. Oh, this is already bad. Or not good. It's not good. Not that it's bad, just not good. Alright guys, I went ahead and ran it again. And as luck would have it, everything is moving. So my mark is no longer there. No longer back there on 8. And now we have new sets of marks coming out. So that's great news. Everything is turning, which means we have good lifters. So the cam break-in at this point is awesome, okay? We still gotta adjust it. There's a rattle in there. Now, I need to have this where I can leave it running for a while when I do this, because I'd like to do it with it running, but the engine needs to be warm for me to do it. I've got to get an old set of valve covers and cut them up. So let me see what I can come up with. To go ahead and set the timing while it's warming up. It's going to be burning off oil and everything from us doing the rocker arm. I wanted to see if that noise was coming from the rocker assembly. Now that that's done, it sounds like it could be exhaust, maybe? Just burned my contact on my dang thing. I knew I smelled something. On my timing light, boy, that thing's been through a doozy, and that's my snap-on one. I think it's my no, it's my Mac Tools one. Anyhow, I'll let that hot plastic that's on the header cool down where I just burnt my, oh, what is it? Not diode, the pincher for the #1 cylinder. So I'm wondering if that's not an exhaust leak that I'm hearing. I am going to jump down that side. This side was loose and I couldn't get to this side. I didn't have an extra hand. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I ever cinched it down, but it just has that little popping noise. I know y'all can hear it. Well, I hope y'all can hear it because it's driving me batty. So anyhow, let's continue on. All right, guys, it is the next morning, only about 3 days later. Hey, I want to explain to you guys what I'm doing. So I've had a couple buddies come by, and this thing certainly has the clack. It sounds like it's coming from number 8. And narrowing that down, sounds like the intake. So here's what I've done. I went ahead and pulled the valve cover on the driver's side. Okay. It sounds like the passenger side. It sounds like the driver's side bank is just fine, and I don't want to get into it if I don't have to. So what I've done is I've got it off the passenger side. I've got my air hooked up. I'm gonna blow the oil out of the, what do they call that? The rocker lock. There's a name for that. I can't think of it at this moment, but anyhow, I'm gonna blow the oil out of these and see if they all look to be very similar in depth and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna do that. I've got the spark plug out of cylinder #1. So if you're thinking of the small block Chevrolet, 1843657 okay? I'm going to, you'll hear it go whoosh, right out of this cylinder. I've got it on the thumb trigger. So when we hear that, we're gonna watch this and I can just bump it to get it to each cylinder. Now, we still have the driver's side bank on. 8, 4, you know what I mean? I can watch those over here. And if there's something that's going on in A, and let's say number 4, because it's the next one that fires, so it would be next in rotation, I'm gonna kind of watch these without the coil plugged in. It's unplugged. So, or I say the coil, the HEI. I've got the HEI unplugged so that it don't start, so that I can watch these and run these. And while I'm doing that, if need be, we know all the plugs are pretty fouled looking. And I don't want to have to pull them, but it looks like I'm going to have to. And if we get into that, we're going to go ahead and loosen the headers, run a compression test, because I want this to be right, guys. And I don't want to drive something that has clatter, because I know that that's not correct. Okay, I don't want to trash the engine or, mess up one of my rockers on a $300 set of rocker arms. So that sort of thing. So I'll bring you guys in just a second, and we'll go ahead and get going on this. I'm going to get the oil out of those and see if I see anything visually. I'll bring you guys in once I notice something. So on this, what I've done is I've taken just a cheap micrometer. You can use a toothpick, piece of wire, a straw, a zip tie, whatever you want. And what I've done is I've started on the exhaust valve on number 2, so the very first rocker arm, and I went down these. So I've poked this down in the hole, okay, of the rocker arm. Let me show you. So I've slid this completely to the front side, okay? What I'm trying to do is that long tip that's sticking out, see it? I'm trying to get that on the very most outside thread, and I've walked down each one of these. See how that one's up just a hair where it's at? Can you see the little bit? And I've done this on every one of these. This one, the intake valve is way down there from the others. So I've just slowly went through this. I've checked it 2 or 3 times, you know what I mean? Trying to see that they're all the same. And it looks like number 8, the intake valve on number 8 is up, meaning the lock mechanism that's inside there isn't down as far as the others. And that's the exhaust. So look at the gap in that, guys. That's like 20 thou. Okay, so that doesn't mean much. I mean, it kind of gives us an idea. Okay, we know where we're starting. Got me? Capiche? You understand? So what we're trying to do is verify, validify my theory on it's coming from right back here. We put screwdrivers to our ear. I don't have a stethoscope and that sort of thing. But now we know, hey, let's watch that in the intake valve on number 2. We're going to watch that as well. So what I'm going to do now is, well, I got to charge this. Apparently I didn't plug it in all the way last night. But I'm going to run down these valves with my little button. And I'm going to watch these and see. But once we get it past 8 and we set back on once we get past 1 and we know that 8, 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, you know, the firing order, we know that 8 is all the way back up on both. We're going to loosen that up, feel, twist, loosen, feel, twist till we get it snug, okay? Then I'll start with half a rotation, okay? And that's going to kind of give us an even playing field. Then we'll go through the 1, 8, 4. So we're going to go to 4, do that. So on and so forth. We're just going to check these valves. I don't want to wipe out a cam if it hasn't already been wiped out, and I don't think that it has. It may be a rocker arm deal, but I don't have intake gasket, so I'm not going to pull it. But let's see if we can adjust this noise out, okay? I'm going to put you guys on a charger and get going. So I'll bring you guys back in when I have a way better idea of what's actually happening, okay? Y'all understand how we're doing it? All right. I think I have it figured out, guys. Well, hold on. Not figured out in a sense, but I do think I've made some progress now. The engine is warm right now. I went ahead and ran it. Now I can hear a little bit of clacking on the driver's side. So did I fix that? I'm not sure. I'm going to take care of the driver's side. I can just hear it, guys, and I want it to be right. So I had a guy, he's a local dude named Elijah Wilson. He has a viral video on most of the car, truck, racing channels, all that. He's got a C10 very similar to this, and it's a tan one. He's just blowing the tires off and just hanging the fronts. Big old, I mean, he knows this stuff back and forth, and he's like, hey man, I'll swing by right quick. And I was like, word. So he's coming by, he's gonna take a look at it. I don't know how comfortable he is being on camera, so I don't know that we'll do that. If he's good with it, we may jump in here and get some stuff taken care of. But the first thing I want to do is get this up. While I had that off, guys, or while I had it running and everything was warmed up, and now the big tick that I was hearing is gone, I hear an exhaust leak on the passenger side, okay. But my starter's been hitting wrong. Ever since I used that big pry bar at Bad Habit and cranked on it to try to put a little dent in the header, it's been hitting, and it's never done that. I may need to shim it, but I looked under there today because it just kept hitting. It wasn't catching it. And I was like, I bet I'm tearing that flex plate up. So I took a look at it, and indeed I am. I'm going to show you guys that. I've done that probably 10 to 15 times since I brought it from Bad Habit trying to get it to start. It's just a problem. I've got a bad spot on the flywheel. I started rubbing my flex plate, however you want to call it. I started rubbing my finger on it, and there's chew marks in it everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up in the air and get it to where I can look at it. When he gets here, I'll just throw down my cribs so that we have a place to walk right here. and we'll continue on. I'll keep you guys posted, but I'm gonna get this up in the air, and let's take a look at this transmission before he gets here. All right, guys, so I'm up under here. I want you guys to look at something here. So, of course, all that oil that's on my starter is coming from the back of me running it with the valve covers off. So the dustpan is removed on this, or the dust cover, and I need to go through and retorque these bolts. One was loose, this one may be, but I want you guys to look up in here. Let me put a little more light on it. You see where all these teeth are chewed up on this flywheel, or pressure plate flywheel. And it's like that in quite a bit of it. If we're looking down here and we're coming back around, that starter has chewed that up, and I don't know what's going on. So if we're looking at the front of the starter on the Bendix, it's not horrible. It looks good. So I doubt it's the starter. And I do have a few shims in there already. If we're looking up in there, see the tang sticking out for the shims. But guys, I'm gonna have to kind of see what's going on with this. Now, y'all keep in mind that I have to, or I don't have to, but I have that valve body I gotta drop. Now, knowing that it's gonna keep doing that, it's not gonna get itself better. I need to find out why that's happening and that sort of thing. So hopefully Elijah has some input on this. It seems like the torque converter is too far forward. Y'all remember that whine that everybody said, oh, you got straight cut planetaries, it's from an RV. That's that whine. I don't like it, it's loud. So I may wind up pulling this transmission. If I've got to do the whole valve body and all the bearings and all that, that would be a good time to do it. We can go through the vacuum modulator, you know what I mean? We just have it off and we can inspect it. Not that I know what I'm looking at. However, Precision Transmission, Richard, an Amarillo guy, has a very, very good YouTube channel, and he's got a lot of subs. He walks through it and shows you stuff. So I may build up my confidence. I rebuilt the Turbo 400 12 years ago, and I had to do it 4 times. I did get it right, but it took me 4 tries, and it was always little shims. But anyhow, while I'm under here, I'm gonna adjust my cable for, let me flip you around. I'm gonna adjust my cable for the shifter. It's not pulling directly back. We're right at the niche of it going in absolute low. You know what I mean? You can pull on the thing and it goes back, but that's not what I want. And it goes into that free mode where you can lock it up and slap it. Not what I'm wanting to do anyhow. But you guys see I've got a huge transmission leak. I've got oil leaking down from running this so much with the valve covers off. But while I'm under here, I'm going to tighten up the exhaust. I'm going to go through here and clean a lot of this wiring up, that sort of thing. But I did want to show you guys the flywheel on this. Not good at all. So I'll catch up with y'all in just a few. Whew, it's dirty. GoPro, stop recording. Yeah, so there's a lot of shop banter going on right now, guys. I've got Elijah under here with me, and I want to show you guys something. He pointed it out to me, and this makes a lot of sense. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic, an engine builder, anything like that. So I'm going to point up here, I'm going to put a light, and Elijah will kind of walk us through this. Yeah, I'm ready when you are, buddy.
All right, so we know this is a 383 because it has 010 stamped on the side of the block. That's a 350, 327, or a 302 casting number. We know it's not a 302. But that tells us it's 350 block, and the rear flange of the crankshaft has the notch in it for the 400 crank. So that would make it a stroker. So we know it's a 383 because of that.
Cool. So before, if you guys remember, I was probing down in the pistons. I couldn't see anything because all the soot with the fouled out plugs and all that stuff. And I had no way to identify the bore. That was my big concern, and I mentioned that to him yesterday. He's like, oh, we can find out. But I never thought of checking the back of the crank. I didn't know that there's different flanges on the back of different cranks. So if it has the, what'd you say? It's got the notches in it.
It's got a single notch on the left-hand side. Instead of being completely round, that would tell us that it would be a 350, but it's got a notch in it.
Gotcha.
That's the identifying mark that it's a 400 crank.
Oh, very cool. What we were talking about. So on a 350 crank, what would that be? Crank flange on the rear. This is a 350. This is what that flange looks like, okay? On a 400, this has a notch right here. So, a little different, but that's what it is. So, hey, I'll mention this right quick too. On this, where these torque converters bolt to, these bumps go to the outside. From what I was understanding, and I can feel it here, there's a ridge on these. That ridge goes towards the transmission, bumps go towards the transmission. These 3 dowel holes need to match up on the 3, or the dowel hole needs to match up on the front. There's only one way that this will fit on there correctly, a lot like the balancer that has a keyway in it that locates it correctly. So let me struggle with this for a few minutes. Let me show you this flex plate. So when we're looking at this, this is what the problem is. And there's a spot on here that is horrible. You see this that's coming up? Look at all this right in here. Can y'all kind of see that? It is chewed to smooth junk. Anyway, you know, that's what started our debacle, is because I would go to crank it to start it, excuse me, and it wouldn't start. So I did have to shim up the starter. You know, I've got that Proform high torque starter, so you take it apart and put some shims in it. I think that's it. Let's fire it up. I've got this place cleaned up, so I'm gonna move this forward. Hey, before we do this, let me mention this. I got y'all shining right in my trash pile. The passenger exhaust was loose quite a bit. What would it be, like 4? So one full turn, about a turn and a half on 2 of the bolts, and the other one was like maybe nearly 1 turn. So hopefully that'll sound better. And this is gonna be, so now we got the new flywheel on there, or flex plate. That torque converter is sitting all the way back. Now, I don't know that that's gonna get rid of the whine. Everybody says that's the straight cut gears in the 400s that come out of motorhomes. I don't know, but that was bothering me. And I'm still gonna flush the power steering pump. It's still kind of whipped. It looks white, And I don't know, maybe if air is leaking past or something's leaking past one of those seals, but that's gonna be my next deal to get the engine to quiet down. But anyway, I'm yapping. Let me pull it forward. So let's talk about that right quick. There is a problem. Now, we wasn't sure about this, but we put that flex plate on there with that great big old weight. I can feel it. I can feel it inside the vehicle. Now, they do make a balancer that's balanced for a 400, so it's a counterweight. We know that the engine is balanced internally. If you guys remember one of the very first videos, that was the thing. I'm gonna have to put a balancer on here. I can feel that. Whenever I rev it up, I feel it inside like, whoa! And I don't know, it kind of has a hot pop right at there. I don't know maybe if that's a choke issue. But I can't drive this like that. I will tell you now, as soon as I rev it up, I mean, you feel it. It shakes you. So that's never been there. And I know that the flex plate and all that is bottomed out, cinched down, torqued down, Loctited. Same with the torque converter. And I was wondering about that. There is one local. I may reach out and see what I can get from a buddy if a buddy has one, because I don't want to spend another $100. It's a few days before, or a week before Christmas. Anyway, shit, just when you think it's over. Have mercy. Anyway, sure looks good. Started easy, so we're going to take that as a win. The starter's not hitting, that sort of thing, so we know we're good there, but I will have to change that balancer. So, okay, so that didn't go as planned. I just changed out that balancer to the 400 balancer, thinking that that was going to help that rotational imbalance, and it did not. Then while it was running, I looked under there. Dicks, come on now. I looked under there and you can see the flex plate just whew, and the torque converter. So I put like an 1/8 inch washer to make sure that that torque converter was all the way in the pump. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out because it looks like that nipple on the front of the torque converter isn't touching the crank, the back of the crank snout. So I'm gonna pull that washer out, see if I can move it forward. And the bolts I got from Emerald bolt may be a little too long, so I may have to just switch that washer to the outside. But there's no other reason this thing should be out of balance. You know, this is a 383 stroker. Didn't think about this when I bought it, but it didn't have the balancer, the flex plate on there, so I went ahead and bought them for a 350. So then, you know, when Elijah found that out, I'm like, well, I'll just get the right one, because the starter was bam, bam, all the time, and it chewed that flex plate up, right? The one I just showed you guys. So let's put the right one on there and figure it out. I thought it was going to be just, you know, hey, well, yeah, let's do that and that, and then we got it. Guys, there's still a rotational vibration. So as I speed up, it gets faster and worse. If I have it at a higher RPM, and not even a higher RPM, if I have it like 2,000 and let off, it gets real bad for just a second. So can't drive it. I've got the heater going in here. I hope I'm not yelling at you, but I got the heater going in here. I'm gonna go ahead and finish picking this up, and we're gonna jump right under there. I'm gonna let Dixie out. I think it's probably warm enough now. And today is the Route 66 takeover. Guys, I haven't got any of the decorations on, nothing, so I'm hoping that this is gonna be a simple fix. If it's not, I'm just gonna have to shut it down. I've got a bunch of chores to do. We've already got all the Christmas parties done, so that helps. So I've got a few hours to tinker with this, but I don't want to be tied into this all day. If need be, I'll do whatever I need to do to get it right. I think Elijah's gonna come over. Hey, Dix. Brian Shannon's gonna be coming over, that sort of thing. So I think we're in good shape. But anyhow, she was about to pee on the floor. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. All right, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. I went ahead and pulled the torque converter bolts. So we're all up in here. Okay, so we see how far back this torque converter is. I'm afraid that if you're looking up in here, you see well, it's hard to see, but there's a crank snout just above my flashlight. It's the back of the crank, and the front of a torque converter has that little hub. What I'm thinking, because I had this shimmed out, not quite this far, like an eighth, and that's quite a bit of room right there, guys. You see what I'm saying? And while this is out, while I have the torque converter off, I'm gonna go inside and see if I can start it and see if the vibration is coming from the flex plate. So these two are separated right now. And I don't know if this is a good idea. Oh, and apparently I have an antifreeze leak. Wonderful. But anyhow, I know that those crank bolts in there are tight. I put the stank on them, double checked them. You know what I mean? So if this is sitting all the way back right there, and then I just shimmed it out, it has nowhere to play. So I'm gonna start it, see if the vibration's coming from here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take the torque converter. It's gonna be about right there, and I'm gonna slide it all the way forward and bolt it up. You see what I'm saying? Take those shims out and see if that space is taken up now. And hopefully that's it. If we're looking at the back of the pump or the converter itself, you can see the little deal that goes into the front pump of the transmission. It was like that before and it did just fine. So my thinking is maybe that whine was coming from the noise and that converter not being all the way in the pump. I don't think that's the issue. So, and when I had the 350 balancer and the 350 flex plate on here, it never had a vibration. We just changed that because the teeth were chewed up, as I said. So I'm gonna push this converter all the way back. Excuse me, I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna lower it, go inside and start it and see if that's where the vibration is coming from. So let's do that. Give me just a second. So there is something going on with the timing, guys. Let me get this started. So I guess I'm having fuel dump in there while it's warm, floating off the bowl. So anyhow, I put the timing light on it just a second ago, and it's nice and steady, and then bam, bam, bam. Let me show you guys. Look down in there, guys, and see if y'all can see the timing mark. There you go. I see the timing mark down in there. So we're not even close to zero right there. So on my timing gun, I have this where I can change this. I'm gonna put this on 0 and see if it moves it up. It should put it to the back of the dial. And it did, but still way off. So right there we need to be about 12 to 14. Guys, we're looking right in between that hole and that top pulley. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me turn this a little bit. We may be fighting our deal, maybe the timing issue. Now that we have both balancers that are or the balancer that's externally and the flex plate that's externally balanced. Let me get this running right, and I'm gonna bring you guys back in, and hopefully I'll be walking around like a pigeon with a French fry. It's getting down to the wire, man. It's like fixing to be 4 o'clock, and the thing starts in a couple hours. I've got to change out these plugs and got some new wires, but you have to build them, which is not a fast deal. So for right now, I'm going to do the plugs, and then I'll do the wires at a later time. I'm going to see if putting the plugs in there makes a difference. I know that 8 and 4, the wires are kind of bad if I have to. I may see if I have any other plug wires around here that I can swap in just on those 2 cylinders and see if that helps. But changing the plugs may be, hopefully it helps. There's still a vibration. Got the new plug wire set. Got to build those. I did stop and grab some lunch, so I feel way better. But I'm gonna get this going on, guys. And this is gonna suck because of the headers and how close they are. Those little NGK plugs or whatever it was I had in there worked way better. However, whatever it is, the length, I forgot what that word is, didn't go all the way into the cylinder head. So let me figure this out. Okay. I do know why a lot of people are like, you're telling me you mess with cars, and they're like, F that, man, no way. You know what I mean? So, got 4 spark plugs changed out. Wonderful. The back 4, I'm going to have to get off of. You see what I'm doing? I've dropped tools. I busted a spark plug, like everything. Guys, everything. This is why people are like, nah, player. But I'm too stubborn to quit. I'm gonna keep on plugging away, guys. I've got an hour and a half. Not looking great. I can't start. Okay, here's the dilemma. So now that I've got a busted spark plug and I realize there's no way I'm going to get this from the top, I need to get up under it, drop the starter where I can get up under and get on the passenger side. Same thing on the driver's side. I'm going to have more access under the headers, right? Okay, here's the scenario. So that this thing don't cut into my guts for the last 3 hours while I've been tinkering with the top, I've let all the air out. Guess what? My compressor's empty and it's been sitting in here for 2 weeks. Or it don't have enough. It has enough to pick up the rear, but not the front. Yesterday, I'm trucking through my little hole getting in here to my parts room, and where my air nozzle sticks out right here. Hit it with my hip, snapped it off inside the dryer down there. So I can't even air it up with that until I fix this. I extract the piece out. There we go. Do I have one of these? Nope. So, can't air it up because I can't run it because I don't have all the spark plugs on it. And one of them's broke off. And it already has a horrible vibration. I don't want to run it for 12 minutes. Oh, guys. Oh, on top of that. Front 4 are out. Number 3, not tight. Number 5, boot's not even snapped onto it. Just sitting on it. It didn't have that click that you like to hear. Just kind of and just come right off. So everything. I'm going to take a minute out for myself. I'm going to regroup my thoughts, and I'll be back with great news. That's what I'm going to do. Guys, it doesn't look like I'm going to make it. Busted plug, I busted that plug. I got to fix my air compressor. One of my neighbors come by and wanted to rap with me for a bit. I'm not going to blow somebody off just to do this, that, and the other. So it's not going to be out there. I'm going to go to this right quick. I'm going to come back and work on this tonight and that sort of thing. But looks like Whiskey Dent won't be there. I guess it is what it is, but I want it to be right. So it is what it is. Guys, so I just finished getting the new flex plate and the new balancer installed. Got the belts back on, tightened up, cinched down. Now I've got 6 of the 8 plugs done. I'm gonna leave it up on the lift, or I'm gonna leave it down, but it's still positioned on the lift where I can raise it up tomorrow. I'm out of time. And change the back too. I gotta drop the starter to get to 6 and 8. And put those on and gotta build some new plug wires for it. However, before we jump into that, let's start this up. So new balancer, new flex plate. Hopefully our vibration is gone. Such good news, guys. Yes, no vibrations whatsoever. Busted right back off. I hear an exhaust leak though. I hope that's an exhaust leak and not my lifter rattle. Let's let that high speed run out for a second, guys. Heck yeah, guys, so it has no trouble whatsoever. I still hear a little tick. I think I'm just gonna have to get past that. So we're back to where we were about 5 days ago. Still gotta put the transmission kit in, and I'm gonna check on that forum a few more times tonight about what I told you yesterday. Or just a second ago, I'm gonna keep looking into that, the stuff I learned yesterday, about the O-rings and all that stuff. So, and on all the YouTube videos, when they're rebuilding these, they always say put 2 O-rings on your pickup tube, that it is prone for them to crack, and that's what happens. So, but guys, that's such good news. We're right back where we were. This thing is very responsive. Sounds good. I need to turn the idle down just a little. I'm gonna let it warm up. But heck yes, guys. We're gonna go for a ride tomorrow. Yes. All right, guys, let's see. Do we want a little heat? We're gonna put it on a little bit of both. We're gonna turn our temp to about medium. We'll get this on low. Hey, you guys hear the transmission? I'm sure that, here, let me turn that back off, that whining. Hear that? It's in high idle, give me a second. There we go. I can hear a little bit of that ticking too. It's gonna drive me nuts. But, oh, got a little heat in her. Let's go take it for a run. See, I put it in gear, the whining stops. For whatever reason. We are, ooh, nice. So it's picking back up in high idle. Let me lower it a little bit, because you gotta look cool when you're running around. Yeah, that'll work. Tire scrub, y'all hear that? Oh, I can hear the lifter getting louder. Not shifting, not shifting, not shifting. Not shifting. I hadn't done anything to the transmission. I'm gonna pull this back in, guys. We're gonna have to get into that transmission sooner than I thought. Knowing I was about to drop the valve body, but this thing should be shifting. It shifted when I pulled it in there. Ooh, she moves. So not shifting out of, I think I'm in first. Give me a second. I'm gonna try this manually, guys. Hey, big dog. He's not happy about me being on his street. Boy, it don't have any trouble moving. Let's see. So I've got it in manual. Okay, there it goes. Went into second. Not picking up third, and it's still making a bad whining noise. I may have leaked out way more fluid than what I thought. I just put a quart in there. Let me pull it back in, and I'm gonna go ahead and dump some fluid in it, guys. Because it was shifting beforehand. Yeah, it's slow going into second gear. Let me pull it back in there. I just went right around my block. I would be willing to bet you that I need another quart. Oh, a little scrub. Let me pick it up in the front. There we go. Compressor's just kicked on. Going into reverse and first, okay. All right, guys, I got another about 3/4 of a quart in there. Oh, let's go see how this does. The vacuum actuator is on there. I thought maybe I knocked it off whenever I was under there doing stuff, but no, it's on there. So give me just a second here. I can hear those. The good news is it's not pinging out of order. It's all relatively uniform, and a few guys are saying that that's going to be a common deal with a few cams. Anyhow, one thing I did notice is it's nice and quiet in here. That all my body squeaks a minute ago, they weren't a thing, which was driving me batty. All right, so it's in drive. Let's see. Oh, way better. It was just about to shift into second, I think, but I got a stop sign right here. Let me get it out here a little bit. I don't know if you guys just heard that, but I did. That was a lifter. It's rattling out of sequence and not shifting into second. You know what, man? I'm gonna pull this in there again. I'm just gonna make the block. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video there, guys. However, the next thing I was gonna do is get into that transmission. I bet that filter is plugged up and we're just sucking air up through the fill tube. So, guys, I appreciate you hanging out. We went ahead and did a couple of flex plate and balancer swaps to make sure that we had the balancing that we needed. Not a big deal. Got a lot of little stuff done in this video. I know it's time consuming, but you guys just plug away at it. It's not something I wanted to do. It's a week before Christmas, and I was out there for 45 minutes here, 30 minutes there, but I did get it done, and the engine sounds good, other than I just heard a lifter a second ago. So that'll be another thing, but that may not be a lifter. That may be a washer tapping the side of something. Okay, shifted into second there. Hold on. Let's get this out. We've got that 2400 stall in there. Let me just see if I'm just not at the right RPM range. I hear something. Shift. 3200 RPM's not going into, I'm gonna say that's third gear. Let me check. I'll do this manually. I'm getting on a busier road. You guys still with me? Right on. Let me get to a little busier road where I can pick up a little bit of speed. I'm gonna do this manually. Same little RPM, same little rattle out there. Yeah, we don't have a second gear. It's not going in there. I knew this transmission was going to be some trouble. Well, we put probably 100 miles on it, guys remember, I got this transmission on a trade from one of my good buddies. It is an RV transmission, which is a good deal with straight cut planetary, so that's kind of cool too. But we were gonna put a shift kit in it anyway and check it all out while it was down. Those forums you remember me talking about just a few minutes ago was saying that the pickup tube O-rings get crusty when they sit for a while, and therefore you start picking up air. That's where you hear your whining. I'm wondering if that's what's going on now, because I can hear that louder now. I'm following one of my across the street neighbors and they're going slow. I was wanting to open it up, but it is what it is. Anyhow, guys, hey man, I appreciate y'all hanging out. If you're new to the channel, man, welcome. This was kind of a drawn out video. And when we thought we were fixing to get into some good stuff, I got kicked in the teeth with putting the wrong balancer on there and going through all that. And the flex plate, you know, it was just a simple, hey, let's change this and go out and do some ripping. And then jump into the transmission. The transmission is going to be on the next one, guys. That flex plate and balancer deal set me back a week, so I'm trying not to get into it. All my neighbors are out. It's what is it, Monday, 2 days before Christmas. A bunch of people are in town and stuff with all my neighbors, so I'm just trying to, I've already pissed them off, especially this guy. So I'm just trying to make it. Yeah, man, I hear another, I hear something right at a low RPM. Right under 2,000 RPM. It sounds like this side. Alright guys, now I'm not going to take that test ride as a total beatdown, okay? This whole video was just up and down, emotionally and financially. So, let's talk about that. Anyway, as I evacuated the flood, I had 7 quarts in there. I'll go to eat a nice sandwich and a couple of strips of bacon. And I jump on some forums, and with a 10-inch converter, a cooler, a TH400 with a deep pan, they're saying you should be able to evacuate 9 quarts out of the pan. I have 7, I know that, and it looks like my pan will hold quite a bit. So I'm gonna clean the pan and put a new gasket on it, and then I'm gonna get 1 quart and fill it up with water and see how many quarts that pan is gonna hold. Just to see if I just had the fluid way too low. I never remember it having a loud pump like the first 3 or 4 times I started. It seemed like one day I was doing something and then it just started. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to take this as a total beatdown. I did watch some of the videos after I ate that sandwich and jumped on those forums, and it does sound like it's trying to shift, doing its thing. What I should have done is just taken a little more time and peppered around with it, which I did not. But I think it's just low on fluid. It's never had a problem shifting. It's just always been soft. However, that's something that we're going to get through with that programming kit in the next video. So it's a win-win-win. I met some real cool people. I learned a whole lot, so that's nice. And I may have still got the figures wrong on the explanation that I gave you on how it balances out. Feel free to leave messages, guys. I encourage it. I take criticism well. And I'm going to go ahead and call this one, this video done. Guys, I appreciate your time. I appreciate y'all hanging out and the time you've taken to hang out. I know it's valuable, as is mine. So I just want to keep you guys up to date, man, build some good content, inspire some young kids, man. And this isn't something I've ever done. I always try to do stuff that's new to me, where I can learn, you can learn, and I'll just share it with you. But if you see me out and about, man, throw me some deuces and let's roll out, man. Just go build cool shit. This is Potter County Patina. Till next time, guys, peace and cheers. And go love them neighbors, man. And let's be an inspiration. It's fixing to be Christmas. So thank you, baby Jesus. And till next time, guys, I'm out. GoPro, stop recording.